Welcome to Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater. Issues and Answers is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. And now, Issues and Answers with your host, Diane Kinderwater.
Well, do you believe in polls? That's the question. We've been living with polls all of our lives. Oftentimes, the biggest newspaper here in New Mexico would publish it prior to an election, and we believed in them. Well, through the years, are they correct? Are they not? Well, on the program today, we're going to talk about a poll, a very important poll that has to do with our upcoming city election for mayor. We know there are 6 or 7 candidates running. Some of them are write-ins, but they're running and they're going to challenge the existing mayor, Tim Keller, who has had 2 consecutive terms, running for the 3rd unprecedented term here as mayor of the city, this fine city. Some people think maybe it's not so fine anymore, but we're going to talk about a poll that was recently done in August of 2025 and what it shows about this upcoming election. And again, to discuss with you the importance of voting and making sure that if you like things, how they've run, if you like to see what you see on their streets, you've got choices. If you don't like them, you've got choices as well. Quite a few choices. So we're going to talk all about that with Carla Sonntag. She is the president of New Mexico Business Coalition, and she had the poll conducted, and we're going to talk about how accurate will this poll be. We'll see. We'll be back right after this with Carla. Stay with us. I think my guest, Carla Sonntag, is thinking, why did she invite me on the show if she's going to question the viability of my poll? Well, because we know in the media they discuss polls and how, wow, they're really far off. But Carla Sonntag is my guest. Welcome to the program. She's the president of New Mexico Business Coalition, and I'm glad you didn't take your microphone off and walk away saying, oh, why is Diane saying my poll might not be valid? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying polls in the past, recent elections, surprised us and haven't been.
I agree with you. That's not a problem.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me about your poll, and why did the New Mexico Business Coalition spend the money to conduct this poll?
And this is the first time we've invested in a poll. And the reason is because it is so important to us, because the city is in a state of destruction, and we have felt for a long time we need new leadership. But we didn't want to just think that we could get new leadership without polling the people, because it's the voters who will decide if we have new leadership or not. So we did not do a push poll. We didn't in any way try to give them information that would shape their opinion.
Now, when you say push poll, what is a push poll saying? Do you really, I mean, it's kind of putting in the voter's mind what you want, how you want them to vote, correct?
Yes.
Give me an example.
So a push poll would be like, if you want them to be negative on Keller, you would say, well, have you seen the destruction of Albuquerque City and how bad it is? And you know, that's because Tim Keller's been mayor.
And you want this to continue.
Yeah, do you like Tim Keller? And they're more likely to say no. So we did not do that. And our poll results and the entire poll with the questions and the demographics are posted on our website. So you can look at them. There's nothing behind the scenes. What is posted there is exactly the way the poll was taken.
And when was it taken? I think were they registered voters?
Yes, and
wow, that's
it
significant.
Was early July, so it's an early poll. Things can change drastically, but it was done in early July, and we only contacted registered voters likely to vote in this election. The same demographics of voters who voted in the last elections.
Same percentage of those. So yes. We had what, independents, Democrats, Republicans?
Exactly. And the Democrats, of course, were approximately double what the Republicans were. The independents were about 17%, I believe. So it's very fair, and it represents Albuquerque voter base.
And what's the major idea that came out of this poll, the major finding?
The very first question we asked, are you happy with the direction that the city is going in? And overwhelmingly, people said no, they are not. We had 64% of the respondents are not happy with the direction that Albuquerque is going in.
Oh, surprise.
Yes. All you have to do is live here to see that. So
look at the street. Or wonder if you're going to make it safely out of the supermarket.
Yes. And if your car will be there when you come out with your groceries, you know, where are you going to put them? So, yeah, it's...
So it was 64% of respondents disagree with the statement, I am happy with the direction the city of Albuquerque is heading in. They're not happy. Okay.
Right. And so only 30% agreed strongly, or, well, only 8% were strongly in support of the direction we're going in. 22% were somewhat agreeable with the direction, but a full 64% said no, they're not happy. 5% were unsure, didn't have an opinion. But that's an overwhelming majority of people who think they want change.
64% of likely voters.
Yes.
That's significant.
It is. It is. And then we asked about their opinion of Mayor Keller, and there was a 60% of the people have an unfavorable opinion because they look at him as the leader in Albuquerque that's gotten us into this position.
Position of not believing that the city is heading in the right direction.
Right.
When many cities across the nation are heading in the right direction.
Yes.
And we have every reason to head in the right direction.
Yeah.
We have money, a lot of money from the state, from the oil and gas industry comes for infrastructure into our city. We have beautiful sunny days, and we pray for the rain that we do get. I mean, the bluest skies you can find, the beautiful mountains. We have a lot to be thankful for.
We do.
But 64% believe our direction is not heading right.
That's right. And so then we did a hypothetical head-to-head, and we took the other 6 candidates that are qualified for the ballot, and we asked people, what do you think about these other candidates? Most of them are highly unknown, because remember, this is early July when we did this, and so they weren't known. But then we did a hypothetical head-to-head. Well, you may not know Mei-Ling Armijo, but if she were running directly against Keller, who would you vote for? And it was Mei-Ling, and it was Luis Sanchez.
Oh, even though they don't know the candidates, what they're all saying in a head-to-head poll, the other candidate, if we're head-to-head, but it isn't, it could be a runoff, but at this point there's 7, maybe 2 write-ins, or they're part of the 7, but anyways, and we've invited all of them to be guests on Issues and Answers, Carla.
Good.
And those who have accepted it are being introduced to our audience. But in your head-to-head poll, every single one of these candidates beat the current mayor,
Tim
Keller.
Everyone.
How much? Share some of the percentages. Do you have those with you?
So yeah, it ranged from 5 to like 15%. Let's see. Let me get to that.
Oh, that's in this
poll. Well, these pages are not
okay, sorry
in
about
order.
that.
But it ranged from
Well,
about...
we have what? Let's see. What is your opinion? Oh, just your opinion of Mei-Ling Armijo. 8% favorable, 10% unfavorable, 81%
unknown.
Unknown, because she's unknown. Even though she was interviewed and she'll be on here. But then we have opinion of Daniel Chavez. Again, 6% favorable, 13 favorable, 81. Oh, no opinion. They really don't know them yet, do they?
That's right.
But then Tim Keller, favorable, 33%. Unfavorable was the 60% you're talking about. No opinion is 7%. So a third are favorable for the current mayor, who is again running for his 3rd term as mayor. Luis Sanchez, favorable 16, unfavorable 24, no opinion 60. So you're right, Alex. What is it? Ubayas, who is the former city
U.S. attorney.
No opinion, about 70% no opinion. Okay, nobody. Eddie Varela, who is a former fire chief here in Albuquerque. Favorable 9%, unfavorable 16, no opinion 74. Darren White has favorable 35%, a little higher than the rest. He's a little bit well known. He was the deputy DPS chief for Governor Gary Johnson. That was, what, 30 years ago?
Right.
But then also worked, I think, at KOB Radio. He was a former sheriff, so he's in the media quite a bit.
Right.
And he has favorable 35%, unfavorable 39, no opinion 26.
Yeah, and that's somewhat significant that the negatives are higher there for Darren. 39% unfavorable, 35 favorable.
And he's a little bit more known than the others.
Yes.
Because they're all saying no.
Yes. And so then you asked about
the head-to-head.
The head-to-head. So Daniel Chavez is 5 points over Tim Keller.
Daniel Chavez. Now he owns, I think, a number of parking lots here. He's
Yes.
a businessman here. And so his favorable was what?
No, his on a head-to-head.
A head-to-head.
37% Daniel Chavez, 32% Tim Keller.
But again, a lot of these people aren't known, but still they're voting. They would vote for them over Tim Keller.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point, that they don't know the candidate, but they would take them over the incumbent.
Okay, give me some.
Luis Sanchez, 40%.
Now, Luis Sanchez is a current
city
councilor.
And a insurance agent.
Businessman
Business.
here.
Yes.
And so he's been on the city council, I think, 4 years.
4 years. And he's leaving that to run for mayor. He also was in a leadership role with the Albuquerque Police Department. And so I think that might give him a little bit of an edge, maybe, because people are very concerned about the safety here.
What numbers are you showing for that?
So Louis was at 40% and Tim Keller 33%.
Okay, here I see, found Darren White over Tim Keller, 43% at 38.
Right.
Maylene still, I shouldn't say even Maylene, but she was, I think the Director of Economic Development for Bernalillo County and the Deputy Director for Sandoval County.
Right.
And she's a U.S. Navy commander, I think.
Yes,
For
in the reserves.
In the reserves.
Yes, and she was 10 points over him in a head-to-head. Let's see, and then Eddie Varela, he was 1 point over. He had 34%, Tim Keller 33%. And then Alex Ubaez, he had the highest lead on a head-to-head. He was at 39% and Tim Keller at 25%.
Oh, he had the highest lead over Tim Keller. Okay.
Yeah, 14%. So kind of went from 1% to 14% with Eddie being low, Alex being the highest.
So what does that tell? What does that tell our viewers, and what does that tell the New Mexico Business Coalition?
It tells us that people want new leadership. They want a new mayor, and even if they don't know the person, they would take that person over the incumbent, which is going to be a hard thing for Keller to overcome if he were to try to, and he will try to win this election, but for him to succeed, it's going to be quite a battle because people are looking at the current state of the city, and it's not good. And then when you look at the business community too, it's very difficult to do business with the city. It's very delayed. People are giving up on getting permits, inspections, licenses. So business people are leaving, and that's not good either.
It's saying that even though they may not know these candidates, they still prefer that over the incumbent. And the business community is concerned. Of course, we've seen all the shuttered up businesses in the shopping centers. I mean, we see them.
Yes.
We can't go to our restaurants that we used to like to go to. We can't shop where we wanted to go. It's disheartening and discouraging that the city looks this way at this point. But any other questions regarding what is important is it mainly about the mayor race, or did you have questions regarding the status of the city?
The only question that we asked about the status of the city is, are you happy with the direction it's going in? Okay. And then we stuck to the candidates. But I do want to point out for your viewers, the demographics. So we talked about it matching what is happening in Albuquerque with registered voters and those who actually vote. So if they're registered but they don't vote, then polling them wouldn't help us, right? Because they're not likely to vote. So these were likely voters. We had 52% of the respondents, and we had well over 500. 52% were Democrat, 31% Republican, 17% nonpartisan. And that really does follow the registrations right now in the city.
51%?
52% Democrat, 31% Republican, and 17% nonpartisan. So that's where we found our voter base in the last election here. On sex, female, 54%, male, 46%. And then we broke it down by age group, and as you would expect, older people vote more than younger people. There were 39% that were 65 or older, 32% 50 to 64, and 29% 18 to 49 years of age. And then by the demographics, it was all matching what we wanted to see, and so I think it was a fair poll, although early.
Will you do another one closer when they get to know and how are they getting to know the candidates? On shows like this,
yes,
through the media, there might be one maybe televised debate, possibly, but with 6 or 7 candidates, difficult.
It's hard, yes.
Regarding raising money, I understand that maybe Mayor Keller is the only one who received public financing. And tell me a little bit about how that works.
So they were required to get a number of people to sign the petition for them to get on the petition, but they also...
To get on the ballot?
To get on the ballot, yes. They also had to get another group of, I think, 3,000 people to sign a form and give them $5. So Keller was the only one that qualified for public financing.
And that's how they did it, by getting people to donate,
yes,
these serious supporters, by giving them minimally $5. Then they could sign the form, and if they got 3,000 people who were willing to give up $5, then they would receive what?
Over $700,000
of our tax dollars.
Yes.
That's what's kind of strange. They're running for office, but it's our tax dollars that are paying for their campaign.
Yes. And with
I didn't really choose to do that, but other people did.
Right.
So 3,000 people said, yeah.
Well, but with 7 candidates, it was very difficult. And Keller has people, from what we understand, that are on staff that were collecting signatures for him.
No, they can't do that.
They're not supposed to do that.
Well, we're saying, no, they're city employees. We pay for their salaries. They can't be campaigning on their work time for their boss.
Whether it was on their work time or not, they were working for him. We know at the markets and at the rail house, when they do markets and things down there, a lot of people identified that they were city employees that were collecting it. Now, maybe they were doing it on their own time.
Well, it was the weekend. That's their own time. They have a right to do
that.
Yeah,
certainly. But we have all these other people running that don't have that access, right? They don't have a steady source of people to work for them to get signatures.
Employees.
Right. So they've put together, everybody has put together their campaigns, but Keller has quite a following because these employees want to keep their job, right? So they need to hopefully get their boss reelected. And so they would be motivated to do that.
Interest in doing that.
The other 6 candidates had to rely just on their campaign that they put together, their volunteers that way.
How unusual is it to have an incumbent running for a third time?
Well, this actually passed several years ago when Marty Chavez was mayor, and Marty had he had served in 3 terms, 2 of them consecutive, and then he was seeking a 4th term, and he didn't get reelected. So he did 2, went away, came back, ran again, was elected, and then didn't get another one. We have not had success with 3 consecutive terms before. So if Keller were to get reelected, it would be the first.
And if he were to get reelected, that means people like what they're seeing in the city.
Exactly. Either that, or the people who work for him that want to keep their job and their family are more motivated to vote than others.
And the number of city employees has increased over his tenure, correct?
Significantly. And so if they may be at risk. I don't know what the mayor would do, a new mayor, if they would cut back on staff or what. But we do know that those people want to keep their job, and they're more likely to keep their job if they have their same boss, right? So that is a good, steady voter base for Keller. And
a big steady voter base. That's big.
it is very big. And so the people in Albuquerque need to understand, if they want to see change, they need to vote. It's going to be critical. And we always want to see more people voting. We want to see the people engaged in the process. Because if you're not engaged, then if you're not happy, you don't have a whole lot to say about it because you stayed home when you could have gone and voted.
And what's important is to be educated as well.
Yes.
And again, they can just look on their street corners to be educated. But also the New Mexico Business or the Business Coalition put together a mayoral candidate questionnaire.
Yes.
To help people become educated.
And those are posted on our website along with the poll. So you can go look at the questions and find out what's happening there. But yes, before we ever did the poll, we asked the candidates for their candid response to some things that are very important to the people in the city. And we got responses from all of the ones that are on the ballot except for Keller and Ubayas.
Oh, so they all replied to your questionnaire, and I have a copy here. It's quite lengthy, but significant.
Yes.
But the mayor didn't, maybe he just hasn't had time.
Well, we got a call from his campaign person asking about if they could have an extension on the deadline, and we said sure, but then they never replied. So we spent a lot of time making sure that they received it and trying to help any way that we could, because we want the voters to have good information.
And this is significant. So what are your favorite questions on this? And how did the New Mexico Business Coalition come up with these questions?
There's two things that business people really care about, and that was our focus. And one that impacts everybody's quality of life. Are we safe on the streets? Do you feel good living here? So we look at crime and we look at how these different issues are being handled. It's also a business issue because our business people, unfortunately, are paying thousands of dollars to hire their own security to try to keep their premises safe for when you and I go there.
Or I won't go.
Right.
I do feel safer if they have security.
Yes.
In recent years, never felt that way before. But if they have security, and oftentimes I will say to the security who's at the entrance, I say, would you please monitor the parking lot? Because I park back there and I want to make sure it's safe. I want to be safe inside the store, the establishment, and my car safe.
Exactly.
And it's sad, but I will go because they have security.
Yeah. And Diane, it wasn't 4 or 5 years ago, we didn't have to live like this in this city.
What changed?
Leadership and
allowing it to happen.
Yes. Well, look, Keller had a press conference saying that they were not going to enforce certain laws. And shortly after that, his chief of police put out a memo to the officers saying, don't enforce these laws. If you stop enforcing even the simplest of laws, traffic violations, speeding, things like that, yes, it gives the green light to bigger crime. And that's what we've seen, is a magnification of crime and people being allowed to do it.
Here's some of your questions. How will you stop the open drug dealing and drug use in Albuquerque? This is asked of our, I'd like to know. I'll have to read. I have read, actually, I should say it, but letting our viewers know, if you want to know, we're interviewing the candidates who accepted our invitations, but you can find their responses on the website. That's important. There's open drug dealing. We see it. You see it.
Yeah. If you want to see
it,
hidden.
It's not
drive
hidden.
Down Central.
Actually, 4th Street, right over by
Yes.
our studio here. If elected, would you expand, reduce, or maintain the size of government? Well, it's been growing and things are so great here. No, it's been growing.
Government
there
has
isn't
grown.
a coalition between the growth and the improvement in what we're seeing in our streets.
That's correct. And we're not seeing our police officers, I know we're shorthanded, but we're not seeing them on the streets like we should.
Crime is Albuquerque's in a crime crisis, one of the most dangerous cities for its size in the United States. Good question, Carla. Please answer the following. How would you empower the Albuquerque police force to better address the situation?
And that's what we need is we need a mayor that will get a proactive police chief who will empower their people to go out and actually stop the crime on our streets.
You have other questions that are significant? We're going to talk another show with you regarding illegal encampments in the city, the sanctuary city, a lot more than another show with you. So please stay with us and appreciate your effort in your poll. And I guess we'll see if there is ever a runoff between the top two, and one might be Mayor Keller,
Yes.
and the other, we'll see
That's right.
how accurate your poll is.
And it was done early.
Early,
But what
right.
we want to see is people get out and vote. You need to express your opinion at the polls. That matters more than this poll. If you go vote and let the world know how you feel, and let's see if we're going to get new leadership here.
And change.
And
And improvement as
Yes.
we deserve, the city deserves. Carla Sonntag, the president of New Mexico Business Coalition. Thanks for all that your organization is doing. And thanks to KCHF TV for bringing you the show. I'm Diane. Make it a great week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Issues and Answers with your host Diane Kinderwater is presented as a public service to inform, educate, and better the lives of New Mexicans. To comment on today's program, email us at info@kchftv.org or call us at 505-345-1991. Join us again for Issues and Answers with Diane Kinderwater.